You are welcome to another biology class here. And what we are looking at for now is photosynthesis. In our previous studies, we have been talking about nutrition, and we have said that there are two main types of nutrition: autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Photosynthesis is a major aspect of autotrophic nutrition. And on this topic, we are looking at definition of photosynthesis. We are looking at the site of photosynthesis. We shall also look at factors necessary for photosynthesis, that is, the conditions that must be fulfilled before photosynthesis can take place. We will look at the stages of photosynthesis. We'll look at factors that govern the process of photosynthesis. And finally, we'll look at the importance of photosynthesis. Now, to the definition. Photosynthesis is the process whereby green plants containing chlorophyll manufacture carbohydrates by combining carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight energy. Now, if you look at this definition, there are key points to note. The first one is that we should all realize that photosynthesis is a process. That, term process means that it's not something that just takes place spontaneously. It is a series of events. That's the meaning of process. Secondly, it has to do with green plants that has chlorophyll. Green plants having chlorophyll. It is these green plants that combine carbon dioxide and water, which are the raw materials, and they use sunlight energy for this process. And it is with the chlorophyll that they combine carbon dioxide and water. So if you look at the chemical equation here, this is our carbon dioxide, and you can see water. So in the presence of sunlight energy and chlorophyll, the product, which is the carbohydrate, is produced with the liberation of oxygen. This oxygen eventually it is given off. Now, in green plants, photosynthesis do not occur all over the body of the plant. Particularly, photosynthesis occurs in the chloroplasts of plant cells. The chloroplast is an organelle in the plant cell. Just as you have mitochondria, you have ribosomes, you have endoplasmic reticulum, and other organelles here. The particular organelle in plant cells that perform roles in photosynthesis is the chloroplasts. Now, the green color of plants comes from chlorophyll, which is in the chloroplast. And it is the chloroplast that gives the plant its green color. So it means that we can have a chloroplast in parts of the stem that are green, but we want to note that chloroplasts are most present in the leaves. They are most abundant in the leaf. So the organ of the plant that is actually majorly involved in photosynthesis is or are the leaves of the plants. Now, the green pigment called chlorophyll absorbs light energy. That's why we say it is green plants containing chloroplasts that are able to absorb light energy. And they use this light energy to combine carbon dioxide with water to form their food. And so in this process, they manufacture their food by themselves. Now, let's go to the next, part of the content. Conditions necessary for photosynthesis. There are 4 main conditions necessary for photosynthesis to take place. These 4 conditions must be met. If any one of them is missing, photosynthesis cannot take place. And for examination purposes, you should be able to mention these conditions. 1. Carbon dioxide, which is present in the atmosphere. It must be available. 2. Water, which actually come as a result of rainfall, which comes upon the soil and goes into the soil. Now, the root taps water, and the water moves by, transpiration into the leaves of plant through the stem, through the roots to the stem, and from the stems to the root. So while the stomata opens and carbon dioxide of the atmosphere diffuses into the leaves, the water comes from the soil through absorption and the transpiration. So transpiration pool brings water into the leaves. When these two, conditions are available in the leaves, then the leaf itself has the third condition, which is the chlorophyll. And the sunlight energy is the solar energy, which is available, which is radiating from the sun. These 4 conditions are necessary for photosynthesis to take place. Now let's come to stages of photosynthesis. There are 2 main stages of photosynthesis. 1, the light reaction stage, and 2, the dark reaction stage. Now, since we have said that photosynthesis is a process, this process involves reactions, chemical reactions. And those reactions have been splitted into 2 phases, which happens, one after the other. Now, the first one is the light reaction stage. This phase occurs in the grana of chloroplast. There's a portion of this chloroplast that is being referred to as the grana. That is where the light reaction stage of photosynthesis takes place. And we call it light reaction stage because it occurs only in the presence of light. It occurs only in the presence of light. Please, you should note this, that the light stage occurs only in the presence of light. Now, let us come to the second stage, which is the dark reaction stage. This phase occurs in the stroma, whereas the light reaction takes place in the grana. The dark reaction stage occurs in the stroma. Please note the word stroma in relationship to grana. So we call it dark reaction stage, not because it needs darkness to take place. It is called dark reaction stage because it can take place whether light is present or not. In other words, the reaction does not depend on light. The reaction does not depend on light. Now let's look a little bit more into each of these two stages. The first one being the light reaction stage. There are a few points that you need to note there. One, chlorophyll molecules absorb sunlight energy and become energized or excited. As the sun rises and the leaves are exposed to bright, radiation from the sun, the molecules of the chlorophyll absorb sunlight energy and becomes excited, or we say they become energized. Two, energy from excited chlorophyll is used to split water molecules into hydrogen and hydroxyl ion. So an excited chlorophyll, releases energy, and that energy is used to split the molecule of water into hydrogen ion and hydroxyl ion. And the chemical equation representing that is what is shown here. You can see 4 molecules of water being splitted into hydrogen ions and hydroxy ion. You can see the H plus and the OH minus. The H plus is the hydrogen ion. The OH minus is the hydroxyl ion. Now, in continuation of that process, the hydroxy ion is further, splitted into water and oxygen. Now, as you have seen it, because this light reaction stage involves splitting of water molecule, that light reaction stage is called photolysis of water. We call it photolysis of water. So don't forget that term. Light reaction stage of photosynthesis is also referred to as photolysis of water. Why? Because it involves splitting of water molecules. And that splitting gives rise to oxygen, which is given off. So there are instances when you will be asked that the oxygen liberated during photosynthesis comes from where? You should know that it comes from what? The splitting of water molecule. So in other words, we say oxygen is given off as byproduct. Oxygen is given off as byproduct. Now, another thing that happens in the light reaction stage is that hydrogen is transferred to NADP, and this reduced it to NADPH2. Now, the meaning of NADP is an energy precursor. The full meaning of NADP is nicotinamide adenosine dinucleotide phosphate. And this nicotinamide adenosine dinucleotide phosphate received, hydrogen ion, and it reduces it to NADPH2. Now, why that one takes place, extra energy in chloroplast is released to ADP, which is another energy precursor. When the chlorophyll was initially excited at the first, phase of the light reaction stage, not all the excited energy is used to split the molecule of water. The extra energy that remains in the chloroplast is released to ADP to form ATP, which is a biological energy. This ATP will be used in the dark reaction. Now, the full meaning of ADP is adenosine diphosphate, and ATP, which is biological energy, is adenosine triphosphate. So the form of energy that drives biological system is the adenosine triphosphate, because it's a stable form of energy. Now, the difference between ADP and ATP is that just 2 phosphate atoms there in the ADP, and we have 3 phosphorus atom there in the ATP. Now, what is being generated here is that we now have ATP being formed here, which will now be used in the dark